When I think of the phrase, "that's so Western," I think of people who get it.
I think I've always been someone to kind of take my own path, and when I describe to people what Western is, they're like, oh, that makes so much sense.
We think outside the box. We think in ways that aren't held by disciplinary boundaries.
It's your job to think differently while you're here.
To have the mindset that all knowledge is valuable.
It's all in there together. I can't separate the different disciplines.
It's like the epitome of what liberal arts is supposed to be about.
We're all studying what we want when we want. We bond really well over that.
Like, oh my God, it's so cool that you're so into that.
I love that our major, we all have the same title, and we're studying completely different things.
And that's not for everybody. Like, not everyone can be Western.
Education was something that I valued. So I wanted to choose the right major, and it was just this big question.
I came into Miami as a sports psychology major.
I wanted to study foreign language.
Biochemistry major.
Pre-dental.
Jewelry design.
When I transferred, I also wanted to change my major.
From design school on the East Coast to come to the architecture program.
I was deciding at the time whether or not I would drop out from Miami and give back my full ride.
I wanted something a little bit different than my business major. I wanted to challenge myself in different ways. I wanted to have some critical thinking skills.
I was about to sign my name on the line to be a social work major, and something stopped me.
I realized that I wasn't meant to do just one major. I felt like that was too specific.
I said, so how can I major in 5 languages? And the room just got quiet, and everyone stared at me, and they're like, actually, you need to talk to this person. They said I need to talk to Kim Ernsting.
An amazing woman that sat down with me and listened to all my interests and what I wanted to do with my life.
She was like, you're so a Western student. And literally that day, I was like, drop in the architecture.
Favorite memory?
One of the RAs that worked in Peabody was a Western major. His name was Jeff Foles. I was pretty good at throwing frisbees at the time, and he thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I even taught him how to throw a frisbee. We threw frisbees out the 3rd floor window of Peabody to see how far we could get them to go.
When I was taking a class with Hayes, I remember him giving us a sampling square. He took us out to the grass instead of the woods or something, and he said, okay, now everybody throw your squares. I want you to identify 20 things in this square that doesn't include grass. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, Hayes, there's nothing but grass in the square. And he was like, look harder. And that's when, you start moving things around. And you start seeing that, it didn't matter what it was, if it was a little twig or a dandelion or an ant or a little pebble. At that moment, I remember it being just so defining, and that was Western, and that's what Western taught me, was how to look deeper.
I think it was Western 341, and it was kind of a theater class. I don't really like speaking in public or acting. It's never really been my forte. So being forced to be on a stage and doing a play with, all of the Western majors was definitely brought me out of my shell.
My favorite memory is the times when I was sitting in the clubhouse and Hayes and Kevin would walk through and they'd say, hey, you coming to Costa Rica this summer? Yeah, that'd be great, but probably not. 2 years went by, they said the same thing, hey, you should come. One fall, Kevin said, hey, you should come to Costa Rica, we're going in January this time. And I thought, hey, maybe I can go. And it was just that perfect example of they cared about me before I cared about them. And then, of course, I went to Costa Rica, and that is something I'll never, ever, ever forget.
My favorite memory of Western is working on Western. I used to answer the phone and try to con these poor people that didn't know anything about Miami, that they were not interested in Miami. They were totally interested 100% in Western in itself. You wanted your kid to live in Peabody and you wanted your kid to be a Western major. They're like, oh, I was just calling to see you could send us maybe a brochure about Miami.
The Gerber Inquiry Award I had received it the year before for linguistic research. I was ready to present. I had worked up my PowerPoint. I was set to go, and I was dressed nice. And I was waiting downstairs. No one was upstairs yet, so I was waiting downstairs. And these adorable older couple sits down on the bench next to me, and they just start talking to me. And I'm having a great old time just talking, asking me questions. And then I find out that they're some of the people who helped to fund my program, and they loved my presentation. And that was a really good feeling, knowing that what I'd spent a year working hard on was actually appreciated, and people thought it was really cool.
I think it goes back to my first class in Western, where we essentially compared bacteria levels in public versus private showers in the dorms on campus. And we wrote a really good article on it, but it was just the fun of like breaking into dorms and swabbing their drains.
I think one of my favorite memories from Western was when Kim Ernsting moved on to her new job.
She's kind of like the mom of the program, and she was leaving us kids.
And we all surprised her in the Western Lodge with letters and food and kind words. We brought her to tears, but it's because she was such a big part of our lives, and she helped almost every single one of us get to the point where we are today.
And I think it just kind of was like an awareness moment where you realize just how cool of a program it is to be a part of and how nice it is to just really connect and appreciate a teacher so much.
Miami itself, on the whole, has pretty small classes, but to walk into a class that has 10 or 15 students with 1 or even 2 faculty members, I know this person's going to know my name. I know this person's going to be interested in my story.
They ask you more than just about classes. It's like, who are you as a person? You know, how can we help you grow?
I could just be completely honest and open and tell them all my crazy ideas and dreams.
In Kevin's case, he's just so down to earth and funny and lighthearted. And Hayes is just so calm and makes you feel like you're doing the right thing.
Actually, just twice yesterday, he butt dialed me. So we had like 3 or 4 conversations on the phone, texting. We do it all the time. And it's not like an awkward conversation with a phone call.
I don't think the other teachers, although they invest time, invest like that much personal time and have you out to their house and have a bonfire and cook for you. It's just like having a big family.
I love these people. I love this building. I think about this building a lot.
The folks in Peabody definitely seem to have a different energy about them.
I've been fortunate to serve as student body president for the last year, and in that I get exposed to a variety of different areas of campus. But Western's, I think, something truly unique to Miami, and I think it served as a home away from home for a lot of us here.